Hey everybody, glad you could make it in. It is January 1st, 2019, and welcome into the New Year edition of the Make Every Second Count live show with me, Jeff Marconette, the international Make Every Second Count speaker. Hey Roland, hey Del Vecchio, it's good to see you guys. So, tonight we actually have Debbie Montgomery Johnson, and she has one awesome story that you need to hear. Happy New Year to you too, Del Vecchio. I hope you enjoyed your night and everything was safe for you and your friends and your family and your loved ones. Same to you, Roland. How are you doing? It's good to see everybody in this new year, and we know that Ohio State is winning right now, so that's a great thing. And we're having a great time here. Hi, Debbie. Now we'll make sure we can get her in here because she has an awesome story, and we're going to be touching on other people's stories a little bit more this year in Make Every Second Count Live, and then hopefully they can give you ways that they...
Hey!
Yeah. Can you turn your volume all the way down?
Yeah, I just did. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is that
But
good?
I can also hear myself. It's strange.
Volume's down on my computer, but not on my phone.
Oh well.
Well, that's not good.
We'll
Is
make it work.
that better?
Yeah, well, I still hear myself, but it's alright.
If I turn the volume down, I won't hear
Hey,
you at all.
Well, I'm sorry.
I said if I turn my volume down, I won't hear you at all.
No, I don't know. Ohio State is not right.
Hang on. I'm going to see if I can hook you up with my headset.
Alright. That actually might work. Hey, Nick. Good to see you, Doc. Hey, Amber. Hi, Saccone. Welcome back. Yeah, she's going to try it better. I'm not sure why it's rebooting. I don't know.
Well, that's
I'll be right back. Alright, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
That is great. Yeah. Actually, you're perfect.
Hang on.
And we don't have the echo.
Let me turn the volume back up so I can hear you.
Alright.
Is that better?
Yeah. Actually, that is phenomenal.
Okey-doke.
Can everybody hear me?
I can. That must be me. I'm everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters.
There you go. Happy New Year, Jeff.
Happy New Year to you too, Debbie. Now, this is going to be an interesting episode because I'm really not familiar with the script that I sent you as well as I should be yet. But we're going to try it and roll with it, and hopefully things turn out great.
It's going to be perfect, Jeff.
All right, thank you, Debbie. So, guys, this is Make Every Second Count Live, and I am Jeff Marconette Jr., the award-winning international Make Every Second Count speaker, and I'm here to show people that they can make every second count, and it's really important that they do make every second count because you only get one chance at this life, and it is very important. So, if Debbie would like to introduce herself, she can go ahead and do that at the present moment.
Okay, my name is Debbie Montgomery Johnson, and I'm living in South Florida, in Lake Worth, Florida right now. I met Jeff out in Chicago last year, and I got to tell everybody I'm thoroughly impressed with Jeff and his story and everything that he's accomplished, and I'm really grateful to be on this call with him. A little bit about me, I grew up in Vermont. I'm not a cold weather person anymore. I freeze in the air conditioning. I've lived in Florida for about 28 years now, and I have 4 children, 4 grandchildren, and my mom and dad are living down here with nearby me, and I love being able to spend family time. So there's
that is great, Debbie. So, what exactly is it that you do now?
I actually am the president of a corporation called BenfoComplete.com. We manufacture a vitamin supplement that's very good for diabetics, but anybody that has neuropathy, which is a nerve issue, but typically associated with diabetics or people that have had chemotherapy. So I run that, but my passion is I am the founder of the Women Behind the Smile movement, and that's about being able to stand up in your purpose. We all have something that's happened to us in our lives. You have a great story, I have a great story. It's a matter of owning that story and being vulnerable and honest enough to share that with others, because there's somebody out there that needs to hear our story so that they're brave enough to be able to tell their story. So that's my passion. I think that's why we're here tonight.
All right, that's awesome, Debbie. Thank you again for joining us. And I know that you are going to help somebody find their smile tonight. So, what exactly happened that made you want to do what you're doing now?
Well, 8 years ago, I was married. I'd been married for 26 years, and my husband passed away suddenly. He had not really been sick, but he was traveling and he had a sudden heart attack, and it threw me into running his company, which I knew nothing about, being a single mom of 4, working my own job, and basically just being thrown out there trying to figure out how to live life and do it the best I could. And so about 6 months after Lou died, all my friends were saying, Deb, all you do is work. You need a life. You need something more than just work. And they wanted me to get back into real life and start dating again. And I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was about 16 and I started dating, I wasn't really sure that I liked dating back then, although my boyfriend then laughs and says it wasn't so bad. But anyway, being 52 and getting thrown back out, whoops, you just went bye-bye. Being 52 and getting thrown out into the dating world again was very frightening for me. But I did it a little bit at a time, but I did it online. I went in to try online dating. And I thought it was safe. I could do it from the security of my home. And, you know, it was one of those things that turned into a very interesting experiment in life. So, since we don't have a whole lot of time, I'm going to cut to the chase and say my 2-year relationship online was just online because he was an international businessman. I have an international company. I kind of understood, you know, you have to do your job. He was overseas. We never really met. Well, not really. We never met in person. We'd just been communicating by email at the time. And remember, this was 6 years ago, so there wasn't as much technology involved in online dating back then as there is today. And so over those 2 years, I actually helped him with his company financially as well as emotionally and whatever. And he came online one morning, almost 2 years into it, and asked me about how I felt about forgiveness. And that led to him confessing that it had all been a scam, that 2 years of our online relationship was a scam. And over those 2 years, I had actually, 2 years, I had actually given him over $1 million in finances to help him with his business. So I had been scammed out of $1 million. Now, I think the most interesting thing about my story, background-wise, is that I'd been trained as a paralegal, so I had some legal background. I'd been trained as a bank manager, so I had the financial background. And I was also an Air Force intelligence officer, so I was pretty well trained. And so it's one of those, I should never have been scammed. But the point of my story is that these scammers are so good at what they do. It's their job, and they're very good at it. They're very well trained. They're very manipulative, and they can scam anybody out of any amount of money, and they're very, very good at it, and they're getting much better at it. So that was, between Lou dying and that happening to me, those 2 years were just emotionally devastating. But my story, Jeff, is that to make every day count, you have to have hope that, and faith and knowledge that things are going to get better, and they will be better, and they have gotten better. But we have to believe in ourselves and trust others.
That is awesome. And guys, I'm going to sit here for a minute and tell you guys that everything will get better in life. It may take some time, but there's been nothing that you have gone through that you haven't lived through. And take those things as lessons. Learn from those things and grow from those things. A lot of people have told me that you don't just go through things, you grow through things. Is that something you found, that you grew through these experiences?
Oh, absolutely, Jeff. And I honor you for what you've gone through. I've actually talked about you multiple times and the challenges that you had, but the success you've had in never giving up. And I think that's true with all of us, is that we could become victims to what happened to us, but I never wanted to be a victim. I want to be the victor. I don't want to be angry. I want to be awesome. I want to just, get through this, because I know that in the work that I do now, there are many men and women who are in the same predicament that I was, but they've completely lost all their finances, their home, their families, their friends, and they're on the verge of suicide, many of them, and that's where they lose the hope that anything will get better. And my goal is to help them to stand up, to own up to what happened, because things happen. They happen for us sometimes, not just to us. And I want people to understand that it makes us stronger. You're not totally, I never knew you beforehand, but I'm sure you're a different person, better, just like I am. I'm different, but I'm better because I found out my purpose in life, and I found out that I have a voice, and I can effectively use it if I just will open up my mouth. I also learned from a good friend of mine, and I have to give credit to her. Her little book, it's called The Little Message with Big Impact, and it's called The One Philosophy. It was written by a friend of mine, Nancy Matthews, and it really talks about how, here I am rambling on about talking, but we need to listen more and talk less. And learn what people's stories are, because until they are able to tell us who they are, we'll never really understand who the person sitting beside us is. And that's important, and then part of the one philosophy too is to own your story 100%, the good and the bad. We all love to tell everybody how good we are and the great things that we've done, and we hide from the things that we don't want them to know about, because we don't want people to think we're not perfect. But, aha moment, we're not perfect. We never will be in this lifetime. And it's okay, because the things that we fail at, or what people say we fail at, the things we've made mistakes at, are the things we grow from the most. And that's what I found to be the most important about all the tragedies that I've had in my life. I've learned something from each one of them, and I've been able to share
Yeah.
it. I've been able to share, and that's important. And inspire. You inspire me every time I hear your story. And when you stand up, I mean, initially, Jeff, when I first saw you, I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? And then when I heard your story and I see how bold you are to stand up and, you know, how courageous you are, no matter what, I'm like, well, gosh, if Jeff can do it, so can I. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm in awe.
I, no, I am very glad to hear that I have affected somebody else in a positive way. But, alright, so I'm trying to think. Is it important? Do you feel it is important to make every second count now, and why?
Yes, I do.
Or why?
And the reason that I think that most days is because I realize that life is too short. When my husband died, he died suddenly. He was 55 years old, or 56. I was 50. And we were thinking life was going to go on for another 40 years. You know, he died so quickly. I didn't have a way to understand what had really happened. It took me quite a while because I never saw him. When he left the house and passed away, I never saw him after that. And I realized that, fortunately, all my kids had been in really good relations with their dad. Everybody had made up whatever had happened in the past. No one was mad. No one was sad. And I realized that every day you walk out of your house, away from your family and friends, you need to tell them that you love them. You need to give them a hug. You need to, you know, just appreciate everything they do for you or give to you, because you never know when it's the last minute you're going to see them. And that's what I learned so much when he passed away. And honestly, my mom and dad, my dad just turned 89, and he works for me. He's a retired dentist, and he works for me. My mom's 84. I try to spend as much time with them as possible. And I tell my kids that too, no matter how many times they tell their stories over and over and over. I said, one day they're not going to be here, and you're going to wish that you had them telling you that story again. And so that's how I live my life, is I really try to appreciate everybody that affects me, that is the one for me, that one person for me, and that I try to be the one for them, because we may be that one that's going to listen, that's going to help, and that will make a difference in that person's life on that particular day.
Yeah, and that's exactly true, because, I mean, the last thing that I say to my mom and to my dad is, I love you. And I'd like that to be the last thing I say to them, because you never know. Just like you said, you never got to see your husband again. He just died unexpectedly. And honestly, that's what happened with my mom.
No, I'm sorry.
And I'm very happy to say that the last thing I said to my mom was, I love you, Mom. And the last thing she said to me, I love you. And then like a minute later, she was gone.
Yeah.
So it's very important to show other people that you appreciate them. It is very important to have good relationships in life, because honestly, like you have said, and like I have tried, that this life is so short, and you never know when it is going to be over.
That's true.
Yeah, I think making every second count is a really good motto to have at life. And that's why I want to try and get it out there, and I'm trying with this show, and I have a movement that I am now doing. I'm going to try to get into schools, and I'm hoping that it'll take off. But I really want to just take a second here and tell you thank you for being with me and my viewers tonight. And I want to ask you guys out there if you would please share this video and invite people to watch this video and post this video in as many groups as you can, because you never know whose life we're going to be able to touch. You never know whose demeanor we can inspire and make their whole life completely different. So I I want to say thank you to the people that do share this, and I definitely want to thank Debbie Montgomery Johnson again and ask her if she has any contact information she would like to give.
I do. Actually, I wrote a book called The Woman Behind the Smile, and you can reach me at Debbie, D-E-B-B-Y, at The Woman Behind the Smile. My book is actually on Amazon, but my website's got a lot of things. I do a lot of writing now, and I love to do that. And I just want to give people hope that there is a future for you, but sometimes you have to be vulnerable to get hurt so that you can move forward. And my happy ending is I have gotten remarried, and I have a wonderful husband who's very supportive of what I do. And and I appreciate him, and I actually, those little texts that we send to each other every day, or that hug before he walks out of the house in the morning, the hug that I get when he comes home, that is what I look for every day. That makes me safe, secure, and happy. And I want everybody to know that it's available out there. You just have to put yourself out there and be willing to take it. So Happy New Year.
Well, that is awesome, Debbie. Thank you so much again for joining us. And don't forget, guys, that we will be back next Tuesday, 7 Eastern Time. And next Tuesday will actually be a special episode because it will be 17 years and 1 day since my car accident. And I will explain more at that point, and I will have some pictures to show you. So we're calling next week's episode the special car accident episode, and I thank you guys for showing up as well, but you have to do me a favor. You have to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when it will be your last. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.